welcome to Mojo Zoo. So, who am I exactly? Well, you've probably seen me someplace running all over YouTube. You know, previously you probably know me from SciWorks. During COVID, I produced a lot of science videos and talked about science, you know. Bugs in water, lasers, petroglyphs. Oh my God, I did so many petroglyph videos, it's not even funny. Then I started doing Sidetrack, which is me and some buddies of mine talking about science fiction and fantasy, and the occasional butt plug. And also I did a lot of radio dramas, or posted a lot of radio dramas over for Professor Cringe there for a hot minute. I don't think we talked about butt plugs there. No. But anyway, the first thing that my friends told me, said, hey, you know, Stormy, if you're going to do a new channel, don't talk about butt plugs. Just leave those out. And I'm going to do my best, my absolute best, not to discuss them. Pinky swears. So what is the mission here on Mojo Zoo? Well, what's the mission? Well, the thing is, we're going to talk about photography. I have loved photography ever since I can remember, I had 3 moms growing up, and my mother, my grandmother, and my Aunt Elaine. And Aunt Elaine, she was she was the curator of my creativity sensibility. She really was. She was the family photographer. And my grandmother, when I in 10, I guess it was, she got me a Kodak Instamatic camera. And I snapped photos up with that thing from 1973 up until 1980. Because in 1980, I took a photography class in high school. I really got to play with a 35 millimeter camera, and I never looked back. I love that camera so much, man. I went out and got a job at Sweet Sue's Dairy Barn in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Worked 5 weeks to get enough scratch to buy a Canon A1 that I still have today. But we're talking about digital. We're going to talk about film photography and all of the arcane magic that has to go on to achieve results in a darkroom. Where to buy film these days? I mean, used to you could go to anywhere and buy film. All sorts of film. It wasn't like they had one one type or one specific brand. They had all sorts, man. I mean, it was everybody was buying film, and it was glorious. But the other thing we're going to talk about is, well, what kind of film do I buy? Well, now if you want to geek out about something, Lord God, the types of film you can get and the specifications of it and all the things that's different, you can really nerd. If you've got autism, film cameras is the thing for you, brother. Look, let me tell you, from a fellow autistic, you can just do a deep dive and be totally fucking fixated on film. I mean, we got, there's black and white film, right? And then there's Standby Portrait 400. And then there's, of course, the Kodak Gold 200. And then there's the Cinestill 800T for tungsten lighting. Also great for astrophotography. And then, of course, there's Ektar 100 that everybody seems to just love. And then there's the fan of black and white favorites around the world. The film that has Ansel Adams as the patron saint. Ilford. There you go. Now, film also comes in a couple of sizes these days. We'll talk about large format photography at another point in time. That's a whole different kettle of fish. But you've got, your standard, you've probably seen this, the 35 millimeter canister. Comes in these little cans. Now, back in the 70s, this is where we hid our dope. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then what comes in, I'm not going to open this because I don't want to expose the film. But then there was 120 film. This is for medium format, and there's a whole big variety of this stuff going on. And so we'll talk about that in depth. And then there's a little company called Lomography. They sell 120 film. They sell the 35 millimeter film, and they also sell 110. Now, if you haven't heard of 110, they used to go these little cameras here. This is made between 1973 and 1974. This is my first camera that my grandmother bought me, and it still works. Shock, shock, shock. But Lomography has these other films that, that are just really fun to play with. There's Turquoise and Purple and Metropolis, and they got like another half dozen more films that film you can really get into, because there's just a wide plethora of just film. So once you get, you get your film taken, well, now you've got the shots in your camera. Now, where do you get it developed? Well, those choices are slim. There's a few. Those choices are slim. We'll cover those too. And then or if you really want to, and it's kind of cheaper to do this by a whole lot, is just to develop your own film. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot at all. You don't need a fancy darkroom to develop film like at all. If you got a laundry room that you can close the door off, you are good to go. And then once you develop your film, you can use a 35 millimeter film, or you can use a digital camera to scan it and get really high resolution stuff. I mean, really high resolution stuff. You can print out stuff to go across a wall. I mean, really big images. But, films, what do you want to shoot the film on? That's the next thing we're going to be teaching here, is like cameras, different cameras. And we've got, I've already showed you this. We got these kinds of cameras. We got these kinds of cameras. We've got these kinds of cameras. I mean, hell, we even got these kinds of cameras. Remember these things? They were awesome and still are awesome and dirt cheap if you don't have any money. You don't think you've got to get a lot of gear to get a camera or to get into photography. If you've got a smartphone in your pocket, that's the best camera to start with. Or just get something like this. I mean, these are what, $10 on eBay these days? I mean, we're also going to, teach you some advanced stuff with things like this. You're my favorite. You're my favorite. We've got a lot of work to do here on this channel. We really do. And it's going to be awesome. And I hope you guys have as much fun with it as I am. But most of all, I want you to learn you something. And maybe how not to be such an insufferable influencer. Get out of the house. Do something. And this is not a spend a bunch of money channel. You'll see, if you start searching for photography channels on YouTube, you'll see, guys covering cameras that's like $3,000 and claiming that's the best thing ever. It may be the best thing ever, but it's maybe not the best thing to take pictures with. This is one of my digital cameras. And when I graduated from that, I got an iPhone 4. And I sell photos. I still sell photos I took with this camera. So don't let some guy on YouTube tell you that you've got to buy an expensive camera, expensive gear, and all this kind of crap to take good pictures, because that's not true at all. And so that's it here for Mojo Zoo. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, just a tiny little bit of something. So until next time, I'll be in the dark room. Take care. See you. Bye. Fucking stupid.